Something shifted while you slept. The gate is still open. You left it that way last night, quietly, without drama, the way real things change. Not a grand gesture, not a decision announced to anyone. Just a quiet internal turning towards something that had always been available and had simply, for a long time, felt too exposed to receive. This morning you wake as someone who has decided that being seen is not a risk to manage, but a gift to offer. The garden is the same, the soil is the same, the light is the same. You are different. And today, that difference will show up in moments you would previously have walked past without noticing. There was once someone who had a conversation at a coffee shop. Nothing significant. A brief exchange with someone they had spoken to dozens of times before. A neighbor, a colleague, an acquaintance whose name they knew, but whose story they had never quite entered. But that morning something was different. They were not managing the distance. They were not maintaining the careful, measured presence they had learned to call independence. They were not calculating how much of themselves is safe to show. They were simply there, present, open, genuinely interested in the answer to the question they asked. The conversation lasted 12 minutes. Walking away, both people felt something they could not name. Not romance, not drama, not anything that required a category. Just the particular warmth of having been genuinely seen by another person, of having offered genuine attention and had it received, of having, for 12 unremarkable minutes on an ordinary morning, actually been present with another human being. That is the garden with the gate open. That is what becomes available when the borrowed story about love, the one that said connection is dangerous, or that you are too much, or not enough, or fundamentally difficult to stay for, is finally, quietly, returned to whoever it belonged to. It was never yours. You just carried it for a while. Take a moment now, before the day begins, to let that land. The person in that coffee shop who showed up without armor, that is not a stranger. That is the version of you that last night's work was quietly preparing. The one who has decided, at a level below conscious thought, that the world is safer than the old story claimed. That people are more open than you were taught. That you are worth finding and worth staying for. Shoulders back, chin level. The posture of someone who knows they are worth finding. You are not the exception to love. You never were. That thought, the one that said everyone else gets this but somehow it does not quite extend to you, that was the borrowed story speaking. Not truth, not law. A story absorbed young and carried too long. This morning you carry a different story into a day full of people who are also looking, quietly, in their own ordinary ways, for exactly what you have to offer. Genuine presence, real attention, the particular quality of someone who has stopped protecting themselves from the full warmth of another person's reality. The days of the borrowed story are behind you. Today you walk through the gate. Say it now, quietly, as a declaration to the morning. Today I walk through the gate. Let that open something, not dramatically. The way a door opens, simply and completely and ready. Your reticular activating system is active and primed. The work of last night has recalibrated your mind to notice what the closed gate had been filtering out. Here is what it is looking for today. Notice the moment a conversation becomes real, when it moves below the surface into something genuine, when both people stop performing and simply speak. That moment will happen today. It may last 30 seconds. It will feel different from the usual exchange. That difference is the new identity creating space for actual connection. Notice the moment you ask someone a question and actually wait for the full answer, without composing your response while they are still speaking, without managing the distance between you. That quality of attention is rare. It is what real connection is made of. You have it to give. Today you will find at least one moment to give it. Notice when someone extends warmth toward you, a kindness, an interest, a moment of genuine attention, and you receive it fully rather than deflecting it or minimizing it or immediately returning it before you have actually let it land. Receiving love gracefully is something the new identity does naturally. Watch for the moment today when you simply receive. Notice the moment you feel at ease in the presence of another person without working for it, without performing ease, without managing your way toward it. Simply present and relaxed and open. That ease is the gate being open. That is the garden doing what gardens do when someone is finally allowed in. Notice the moment you extend kindness to someone without calculating whether it will be received or returned or noticed. Just giving it freely, the way a person gives who knows they have enough warmth to spare. That moment will come today. It is the new identity expressing itself in the simplest possible way. And at the end of today, recall one genuine moment of human connection, however small, however brief, that would not have happened if the gate had still been locked. A 12-minute conversation, a moment of real laughter, a simple exchange that left both people fractionally warmer than before. That is your evidence. That is the seed above the soil. Today I am open. I move through this day as someone who knows they are worth finding and worth staying for. I notice the moments of genuine connection that arrive in ordinary hours, and I receive them fully, because love flows naturally and persistently toward someone who has decided they deserve it. Shoulders back, chin up. The day has something good in store. Go meet it. Shift happens at subconsuccess.com. Shift to your next level now.